Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E-Streaming. We are here live with the Australasian Supercar E-Series. It is round number 5. I think it's round number 5. As my brain slowly kicks into gear. But we are here at Fontana at Auto Club Speedway. We are just in qualifying at the moment. And joining me up here in the booth tonight, I have Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how are you going, mate?
Good, mate. And you? Good to be back here at with a as my volume kicks in the background at the Australasian Super E Series for round 4, I think it was.
It could well be. My brain is a little bit broken today. It's been a long day of broadcasting motorsport. But saying that, it's been a fantastic set of action we've seen. We're just looking at, as I try and get things working, Christopher Tomlin here on his qualifying lap here. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye open for what's going on in the background as drivers start their qualifying time for tonight. Of course, Fontana, very, very fast lap indeed, isn't it, Mark?
Yes, it is. It's a very fast lap around here, around the 2 mile oval. So it's very, very different. This place you can. It's not the usual way. By memory, 1 and 2 you run the low line. 3 and 4 you normally hit around mid track. But in saying that, I'm talking with the Cup cars, NASCAR. So it'll be interesting just to see what these guys are running where on the track.
No, absolutely. It's a track where you can get a lot of speed, but you need to get things absolutely right to make it work. So just looking at the conditions at the moment, we're looking at 18 degrees air temperature, 19 degree track temperature, which is nice and cool for these drivers. Not too hard, of course. It's going to be a hard one on tyres as well. As we jump to Alex Schmidt here doing qualifying lap. Tyres are going to start to suffer, especially that right rear. And considering these drivers only get 1 set of tyres to change onto in the race, that is going to be a tall order indeed.
Yeah, it definitely is, mate. I'm glad they run at night and not through the day, because that right rear would burn out off real quick.
No, absolutely. It gets hot very, very quickly, and it can really chew them up. 2 mile in length oval, of course, 3 and a bit kilometres we're looking at. We're sort of not 100% sure on what we've got going for the stint length. We're probably looking at about 30 laps of fuel in there. It's going to be 100 laps racing tonight, of course, so it should make some interesting stops, and it'll be interesting to see how people get this one going. So just having a bit of a look-see here. Just head to Jai Schultz quickly. You've been having some good results recently, Jai.
Yeah, unlucky today in the 500, but the past weeks have some very good results here.
Yeah, he's been having some really good runs recently, and he's going to hope to continue that. Just quickly, as we continue on here, qualifying won't be too long until we head out for the track. But while we're waiting, let's just bring up the Teams Championship. Sorry, I haven't got this in a nice fancy graphics, folks, but it's been a bit of a panicked one today, as our usual cameraman and producer, Mr. Matt Hunter, of course, has been busy helping his mum after all of the horrible cyclones in New Zealand. And luckily, she's okay. All the pets are hopefully okay. One's still missing, but should hopefully be found. And all of her house is house is standing, and she's been saved. So that's the main important thing. Pinnacle up at the top of the championship with 108 points. Second place we have Sim Boys with 107, and then 106 is Everything Simulated Racing. Cars are starting to grid up. Just before we head on over to that, though, just a quick look at the drivers' standings. and it is Justin Witcher in the lead of the championship. Raymond Yeager in second, Troy Davidson third, fourth for Kay Donnelly, Greg Spencer fifth, Ross Chatham sixth, seventh is Gary Wellman, Nicholas Walsh in eighth, ninth for Dwayne Priest, Chris Finlay in 10th position. Mark, might just get you to run through the starting grid if you would be so kind. If I can actually hit the right button.
Yep.
There we go.
Barry Neal off pole, Troy Davison on the outside. Row 2, we have Jade Schultz, Adam Malone, Craig Rocky, and Kim Rocky. I hope they're brothers or excuse me. Row 4, Ruben Phelps, Aaron Dillon. Row 5, Justin Richard, Tom Pritchard. Then we have Dance Priest, Paul Drady. Then Gary Willman, Greg Spencer, Ty Donnelly, Luke Crum, Todd Maxwell, Andy Barber. Then Raymond Jagger and Jared Daly, Nicholas Welsh and Nigel Patton, Brad Finley, Aidan Schmidt, Peter Madison, Madison, Andrew Hoffman, Ross Cheltenham, Noddy Tompkins, Tristan Koch and Jamie Nankervis, Christopher Tomlin, Kobe Jordan, and then rounding out the field it's Derek Jacobson and Peter Gretton.
Absolutely, another bumper field here tonight. 34 cars strong here for, as we said, the very, very fast Fontana racetrack. Of course, racetrack that holds a closed course speed record, 142.6 miles per hour from memory, held by one Gilles de Ferran of Penske, with a car built by, helped being built by one Mr. Carl Wilkinson Withy of Australia nowadays. Always my favourite claim to fame, of course, the fact that I helped build that car. And I will never have a moment where I do not mention it.
Well, we don't always get a lot of bragging time, Carl, so you're more than welcome to it.
No, absolutely. It was a good day indeed, and look, I mean, got a nice lot of beautiful donuts for that one, but it was a heck of a lap. And look, they're going to be going a little bit slower in these NASCARs, in these V8 Supercars, but not by much. They get a heck of a lot of pace going along these tracks.
Yeah, but again, we're down to one tyre set, like the one that they start on, and then one other set. So it's really going to be a tough ask, 100 laps, and it's going to be quite fun to watch, I think.
Yeah, it is indeed. We are just coming up to the pit lane. We will be going green here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. It's round number 4 here at Fontana. Barry Neal, Troy Davidson are going to lead away. We're going to shut up and enjoy these beautiful V8s as they roar along. As they cross the line for lap number 1 of this evening, it is Barry Neal up in the front, Jai Schultz looking to get up there, and look at Troy Davidson up on the high side in the Simboys entry, trying to go 3 wide here.
Yeah, 3 wide early, it's not a good sight, but a little bit different to the NASCAR. Probably not as big as their aero suck on these things as the side draft of the NASCAR, and they've still got a fair distance between them, so that's one good thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a little bit of room here. They're spreading out. You can afford to run a little bit of a different line, of course, with these supercars. They've got a big front splitter and an even bigger rear wing on them, of course, which punches a huge hole through the air for the car behind. But it does mean that you've got the chance of having a little bit more of a sticky car on the racetrack. Sucks it down to the ground and makes it so you can run some much different lines, of course. But the one drawback of that is it does, of course, eat the tyres up a little bit quicker. But it is Troy Davidson in the lead, Jai Short second, Barry Neal, Dwayne Priest third and fourth, Craig Roffey inside the top five.
Yeah, good run there by Jade Schultz. Really getting out in front of the race. Sorry, just getting rid of an animal.
Dwayne Priest now getting a bit of a run on the low line, the purple Simboy.
It's a little bit, the Sim Boys in this are a little bit like everywhere else. You just don't know which one, how many you're going to get here to race.
Absolutely. You tend to get a fair few Sim Boys out there, and it makes it some interesting stuff. They've got a good, strong team, though, and a lot of drivers that are very good on these faster speedways.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Carl, I still just can't get used to those headlights on an oval track.
I know it throws you off a little bit. The one good thing though is if the lights go out, then at least they can see where they're driving. Makes for a very interesting part of the race, though.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got Barry Neal deciding to go 3 wide here, and going to try and make 3 lanes work here on the oval at Auto Club tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it's a nice big wide track here at Fontana. I always try and remember the actual name it's meant to be called. Always forget, always go with Fontana. Just to show my age, I think, with that one. It's the tricky thing. Just looking back a little bit, looks like Aaron Dillon is a little bit off the pace. He's the only car that's really fallen off the back of the main pack. But up the front, it is the usual action that we're expecting. Todd Maxfield now taking a chance to lead, be the top sim boy, as they say. He's going to get a chance to get across the line and lead a lap and get one of those all-important bonus points, of course.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing how many bonus points can quickly add up to championship points. And we got the 0.6 of Ruben Phelps deciding to try and have a run on the outside there.
Ruben is an absolute monster in these V8s, and he is looking to put that to the front now. He is getting a good run here in the Everton Simulated 06, and he's trying to get the run. Can't quite get it in the nose ahead at the moment, because Gary Wellman is now the lead sim boy. I say it's an absolute smorgasbord of sim boys at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to see where Ruben's teammates are. Tristan Koch is down in 25th, and I believe Jamie Nankervis is a little bit further back.
27th at the moment.
27th. So they've both had a big day. They've done the 500 today, so they may be feeling the pinch a little bit.
Yeah, it's a long time to be sat in the sim, and if you get a chance, head over to Performance E-Streaming on the YouTube channel. You can catch the replay of the 500 there. Some great action from that race. We won't say any spoilers for the outcomes, but we will say that a lot of people have had a very busy day in the Sims, and a lot of the same drivers we saw then are out there today. One of those drivers is Raymond Yeager. He's in the mid-pack at the moment. He's sitting down in 11th position, battling it out with all of these cars on track at the moment, but it sure as heck makes for a very, very long day, and absolutely takes us to the limit of our abilities. It's been a long day of talking for both you and me, Mark.
Oh, it definitely has, mate. I'm getting sick of my own voice.
Absolutely. I mean, I would not go past a nice glass of wine at the moment. And if you're in the market for some wine, head over to my private cellar, of course. If you're looking for wine storage solutions, they are the place to go. And they can not only help you find the perfect storage solution, but they can also find you that perfect wine to go with it.
Can they have a bottle to me in a couple of minutes, mate?
I feel like after this race, I'm going to seriously need it.
No, they're a great service, and have some great wines there too. So, as Carl said, make sure you head over and check out their web page and get an order in from some of that great South Australian wine.
No, absolutely. A little trip down to McLarenville would not go amiss right now. Just up on the outside, we've got Andrew Hoffman getting a good run in the 51, just behind Todd Maxfield at the moment, trying to get up and get his name up to the front of the pack. Craig Roffey moving up as well. Got Troy Davidson sitting up there with Barry Neal too. Barry Neal, of course, flying the flag for New Zealand in the Aotearoa racing car. One day I'll pronounce it correctly.
I'll leave that to you because I'm not even going to try. Every time I try and do it, I end up getting tongue-tied and making a real mess of it. And I definitely don't want those boys come chasing me.
Oh, yeah. Barry sent me a few links on how to pronounce it, and every time I still get it wrong. I know it's Aotearoa. I always get that last little bit, but with my stammer, it makes things a little bit difficult. Ross Chatham as well, getting a good run in the 866 now in 7th position, getting a run up towards the front of the pack here. And quite a few drivers just seeing what they can do, shuffling their way up here as we're on lap 12 of 100 so far. Great racing out on track, it's been very clean, which is what we love to see, and pretty much too wide all the way down the field now as well. As we look a little bit further back in the pack, we've got Greg Spencer up there with the Pinnacle entry, just battling it out with Tom Pritchard in 21st position. Nicholas Walsh, Gerard Daly and Tristan Koch up there too, but the action is all across the field at the moment, all the way down to Brad Fenley with the I was going to say the not so delicious beard sponsor of VB on there. My personal tastes would probably go for a bottle of wine over VB any day, but Fenley having a good run. He's had a really busy week this week, some good races as well under his belt, and he's going to hope to continue that run tonight.
And the racing doesn't get ease up anytime soon. A lot of these guys will be back out in the trucks again tomorrow night. So
absolutely,
a big weekend for a lot of these guys.
Now, it's been an absolute mega weekend, and Speed Week has been a tiring one for sure. Andrew Hoffman takes the lead in the 51, gets the all-important lap lead marker next to his name. Nice to see Hoffman up there. We've not seen much of him this season. I think it might be first time I've seen him out this year, or he's not been at the front of the field at least this season, but running very well at the moment in a strong P1.
Yeah, definitely. And what's that? About the 6th lead change already for this race.
Yeah, I can pull up the. Oh, where am I? So, 8 lead changes so far tonight.
That's unbelievable. in the laps we've completed so far. Great racing though. Great, very tight racing. Here with the V8s.
They put on a spectacular show, as we've said many times. They always work great on these oval tracks. It makes you want to see them do it in full metal racing, doesn't it? Really. Yeah,
well, I know there's been rumours of the Thunderdome being fixed up, so maybe we might see it one day.
Oh, it would be fantastic to see some more oval action. I'm a big fan of the ovals, of course, and I'd love to see more of it. And oval racing sedans are some of the best racing you can get. It always brings out the best. And we are getting that tonight. As you can see, the front of the field is absolute chock-a-blocks at the moment. Ruben Phillips up there with Hoffman, Wellman, Maxfield, Davidson, Neal, Tompkins, Roffey, Priest, all of those drivers are within spitting distance of the P1 position. There's absolutely nothing between these guys. To give you an idea, covering the top 13 cars at the moment is less than a second.
It's unbelievable. It's door to door and nose to tail racing.
And it just goes to show that the level of expertise of the Australian oval racing community has really shot up in recent years. In fact, we are still 17 laps in without a caution. It's great to see, and a big props to all of the drivers out there. It's great to see them putting in the effort and the practice to really hone their skills. And you know, I think we've got one of the strongest oval racing communities outside of America.
I think so. But what I'm really amazed about, Carl, is that, as you said earlier, a lot of these guys have done the 500 today, and they've come from a left-hand drive car into a right-hand drive car. So everything will be so different. Your angles and that you look for, and the markers on cars would be so different.
Yeah, absolutely. They all change up, as we see Tompkins getting a little bit of a bump draft there from Lonnie Tompkins, from Ruben Phelps even. Tompkins getting the lead, crossing the line and getting his bonus point struck next to his name. But yeah, that is it. It's a very different car to drive. It's so different in how it handles, so different in the way it delivers power, in the way it drives. The drivability factor of it as well is very different. And as you said, being a completely different position from when you're driving from really changes up how the car feels. And these drivers are able just to hop back in it and get back out there and set these fantastic laps and race so close to each other. It just shows the skill set we're dealing with.
Yeah, definitely, Carl. And you can see there, Ruben's definitely trying to give the Andrew, I think it is, a hurry up. No, sorry, Noddy Tompkins, a hurry up.
As we go four wide, Mark.
There's not many places you can go 4 wide. You take over, Carl, because I'm going to close my eyes. I really don't want to see anything happen here at the front of the field, because I think it's going to take a lot of cars out if anything happened there.
Oh, as we get very close to something going wrong there, as Ross Chen got very, very close to being squeezed there between, I think it was Neil and, I didn't quite see the other car, but that was real close stuff. And you've got to be so careful. Of course, one of the other things in sim racing is the dreaded net code contact, and you've just got to be a little bit cautious of that on oval racing. Even though we're all in the same region, a little bit of ping can easily cause an incident to happen, but everybody's gotten away with that one. Some great action there, real great close racing from everybody. What we might do, jump on board with Jamie and Curvis right now. And we're going to jump on board with him to get an idea of what it's like from an in-car perspective here, and you really get a feel for how this is, and you get a better view from the roll bar cam. When you're actually driving it, it's much less of a view, of course. It's a very narrow section you see, and as some real close stuff up there with Don Tompkins and Barry Neal.
Yeah, there's some real door-to-door racing starting to happen up the front there. But as you can see out of Jamie's car, you can get a good view of what's up in front of you through the turns. But down the straights it just disappears, and all you got is the tail lights of the car in front of you.
Absolutely. The one thing you can kind of do in this car, it's slightly different, I'd say, to the Cup car and the NASCAR sort of contingencies. You can actually see through the rear window of the car ahead of you. So you can almost look through the car ahead of you and get a slight idea. It's less than a letterbox wide, but you can use that to your advantage sometimes, as it is getting very close, very fast, very furious action up the front at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, Carl, I'm a bit distracted. I'm trying to get my timing link to work. It's decided to stop on me, so I'm without live timing, so I will revert back to trying to work off the in the iRacing one on the results page.
As we were talking about 5 wide a few moments ago, it's always contact! As I didn't quite see who that was. That was
Noddy, and
I think that was Hoffman. Sure. Andrew Hoffman. No, sorry, it wasn't Hoffman. It was. It was Hoffman. Sorry, it was the 51 of Andrew Hoffman and Noddy Tompkins just making a little bit of contact, but all's fair in love and war. A little bit of door-to-door action is not going to hurt anyone if you keep the car pointing in the right direction.
Just having a look at it myself here, and just door to door. Yeah, just the door to door.
Oh, this car's gone round. Caution flag is out, lap 25. We'll go to the replay here, and it looks like it might be Jai Schultz. No, it was not Jai Schultz. I see Greg Spencer's gone off as well. Greg Spencer just went off avoiding that one. I didn't quite see who was actually involved in that accident, Mark, if you can possibly jump to that.
Yep.
So, first caution out, lap 25. This is kind of the perfect time for fuel stops as well. This gives the drivers a chance to duck down pit lane, top up their tanks with some gas, and get ready for the next stage of the race tonight.
Trying to find it, mate. Still.
Ruben Phelps in the lead, and they're going to come down pit lane now as the mass of cars will be heading down pit lane. We'll jump to the pit road camera and see what we can catch as the rave begins in pit lane, as all the cars will duck in. Always tricky to do pitting. A little bit easier though under green. Sorry, under yellow, because you do not have as much chaos happening. But as you can see, a lot of cars coming in, and you've got to hit your marks properly here, otherwise you can lose a lot of time. Not easy to do when you see all those cars coming in. That's all you can see from an in-car perspective as well.
Okay, I found the car. It was Hoffman and I'll go forward so I can see that other number. The 777 car, one of the sim boys, just squeezing Hoffman a little bit, and that put them both into the wall, and then it was everyone behind them trying to avoid it.
And there we go, you can just see it there, Dwayne Priest and Hoffman making contact, and good avoidance by some people there. That could have been a much bigger accident, but that indeed was enough to cause a big old wreck there and take 2 cars out of contention for this race.
And it looks like Tristan may have been caught up in that in the background too, with nowhere to go.
Yeah, we see Tristan just coming out pit lane now, and he's got a lot of damage to the right hand side of that car. Dwayne Priest is back out there, one of the other cars. He had a lot of damage, and you can see that car is absolutely beaten up. And we may have lost Kim Roffey from this race as well, so quite a bit happening there. But up the front, the winner off pit road was Gary Wellman. He had a good run. Let's just quickly look at the pit box timers. There we go. So Gary Wellman, nice quick run down pit lane. Of course, probably not going to change tyres this early in the race. Of course, drivers only have one set of tyres they can switch to, so they'll wait till half distance before they do that. But how much fuel you put in is up to the drivers. They may not put a full tank of gas in there. They may fuel it just a little bit under, because they may want to put in a strategy, or they may brim it to the top. I think most drivers will have brimmed it, but you might see a couple of people trying to roll the dice a little bit, going a little bit short on fuel to gain track position.
Yeah, I kind of sort of think if I was in this position, I'd go down and I would have taken a full tank of gas, run it out a little bit longer, then another full tank, and then you've got that option of that short fill for that last stop.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room. But as we know, sometimes counter strategy can pay off. I don't think anybody's done it this early in the race. Expect to see that in the latter stages. Pace car lights are out. We're about to go green flag racing here. Again, Notty Tompkins got a little bit of side damage. That was from earlier on, I think. But back to green flag racing here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by my private Cellars.
See what type of start Gary gets here. He's normally pretty good on the starts. And he jumps. He gets a good jump over Barry. He'd be looking at hope maybe getting his teammate there to drop down.
And I think we've had... Oh, sorry, that was wrong. I was looking at the wrong part of my timing screen. Sorry about that. We didn't have anything happening apart from the restart there.
Yeah, Barry Neal has really come up. He's now pressuring again for the lead, and Ruben Phelps a big swap from the high line straight down into the low line, and we were again 3 wide for a short time.
Yeah, funny enough, you actually mentioned the 5 full wide moment we had, that being a big moment where you wanted to close your eyes. I was actually chatting to a friend today, and we were talking about Classic Spa 24 hours race, and they were 6 wide down the straight to Eau Rouge at Spa, which is a scary thing to imagine. That's something I definitely would not want to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of close your eyes moment and hope for the best, really.
Absolutely. I mean, going 4 or 5 wide on a massive, nice wide track like Fontana is scary enough, but doing a Spa, that's just insanity. But people have made it work, and they're making it work at the moment. Barry Neal up there in the lead as Ruben Phelps, Lloyd Tompkins, Gary Wellman, Troy Davidson, Todd Maxwell, Paul Drain, Jamie Nan Curtis, Christopher Tomlin, and Alex Schmidt are top 10 at the moment, but that's surely going to change in a matter of moments.
Yeah, definitely. And both Ruben and Barry really want to get the lead of this race, and they're swapping lap to lap for the race lead. So now we've got to see Noddy jump to the high line and maybe try and get something to work up there.
Yeah, we've seen some good drives from Noddy Tompkins recently. Always nice to see Noddy doing well, and he's been having some really good runs as of late. He is very strong in this V8, and he is absolutely knocking on the door for a victory, you've got to say. It's not quite come his way yet, but it is only a matter of time.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of guys though up here in this lead pack, mate. You can't count out Paul Drady in the Lucas Oil car there. He's good. Jamie Nankervis there is 3 wide in the centre, making a hole for himself. So there's a lot of guys. There's 3 or 4 Simboy cars there. So it's again, it's another one of those races where you close your eyes, flip your coin, and see where it lands.
Absolutely, but some good driving as well. Again, we're seeing it once more. Got to be careful in the restarts as well, of course, because as Tompkins gets a big slide there through the corner, he's safe. That's somehow miraculous save there by Tompkins, because I thought that car was going a loopsy-loop, but that will have woken him up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a clean set of underwear, pit lane for the next stop.
Exactly, it won't be just the tyres that need changing in that car. That was a huge save. Good job there by Noddy Tompkins.
Yeah, so they came down, I'm just trying to do some sums. What lap was it they most of them pitted?
About 7 laps ago.
7 laps to go, so that...
Meanwhile, up the front, Ruben chugging along while Mark does his maths. As Dwayne Priest falls a lap down here tonight. And it looks looks like we've got Kim Rothy back out on track as well. So we've still got 32 cars out there tonight, which is great to see. An absolute packed field here tonight at Fontana.
So we're probably looking at lap 60 before we see anyone back into the pit lane, Carl. Now the big question is, do you take tyres there, or do you pray and hope there's another caution in that last half of the race and risk it and hold out to take the tyres then?
I think it would be a foolish man not to take tyres in the next stop. From what I was hearing from the drivers and from knowing Fontana as well as I do, it's one of those tracks where it does really affect those rear tyres. So I think if you don't change tyres in the middle stop, you're going to really struggle. There is that chance if you feel like you can risk it and go to the final stop without changing tyres and then have a really fresh set of boots to the end, you could go for it, but I think you're going to lose too much time to go otherwise. So I think we'll see everybody changing tyres next stop.
Yeah, just looking at Christopher Tomlin up on the high line there, Ruben moved up to block that move, but Christopher is having a great run through here at the moment. So really battling for the lead in the 212 car.
Well, good run for Tomlin here, and he is trying his best to get up there and get that bonus point for a lap led. And it's always a nice thing to lead a lap in the Australian oval racing community, because it's not very often you get the chance to.
No, definitely not. I've done quite a few laps, and the main one I've led is the Talladega, the most important one. So it's not very often that guys get to lead a lap, and as you said, Carl, you take every opportunity with both hands.
No, absolutely, and it's a fun thing to have happen, and if you can lead it on the last lap, that's the crucial one. Always a nice feeling to get that victory under your belt. Very hard to do though when the competition is so very strong, and look at the competition up the front. It is absolutely there. Luke Crum having a good run up into third place even now.
Yeah, he didn't have a great 500, but he's definitely making up for it here in the V8 tonight.
Yeah, very nice run, and I think he might be teammates with Tomlin from memory. So those two are really putting themselves into a good spot right now.
Yeah, definitely. They've definitely got that high line working there. You can see Ruben's just been able to hold him off and keep him behind him. And Barry hasn't given up the chase yet.
That's it. The inside lane production cars are having a nice run up there. Tomlin and Crum, and Crum's going down the middle now. He's going to try and get a run here and try and get out ahead here, but up goes Phelps to cover that high line. Can't quite move up there in time. He's going to drop down to the low line. Oh, contact! A little bit of net code contact there between Crum and Barry Neal.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see at these speeds. Is a net code. But that's eased it up for Ruben to get a little bit of a gap, not much, but just a bit of a breathing room. But only for a half a lap, as we can see the inside line guys coming back to him.
Aaron Dillon goes across the grass, just holds it there. Oh, that was a big moment there. Aaron Dillon just about kept that car from going up, and that would have been a huge wreck if he had gone, if he had caught the other cars there. We'll see if we can get that on a replay. Sorry, got a little bit.
Oh, he's done so well that end of it.
We'll see this one here. It looks like he's got some damage to begin with. You see the 013. Oh, just a strange one. The car's just snapped on him, but good job saving it, because that would have been a huge wreck if he had gone up from the grass there.
Yeah, it's a very strange one. That's just snapped on him.
I wonder if it was a. It looks like it could have been a rig error there, so possibly an error on his racing wheel there, because a car, unless he had a little bit of net code contact that shot him across there, it was a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, it's an unusual one. We've seen some strange things happen, but nothing to have a car snap as violent as that.
And looks like Hoffman is having a poor run. He's having to pit in. He's having to come down pit road. Something has gone wrong for the 42 of Andrew Hoffman. Unfortunately, a good start to the race, but it has not been a good couple of laps for him.
I was going to say he's probably carrying a fair bit of damage from that last one.
Yeah, very much so. It's still Crum and Tomlin, the inside lane production boots, having a good run up on the high line, and they're still keeping Ruben Phelps and Barry Neal honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough race there out the front, with Barry and Ruben wanting to battle each other, and then they've got to think about the two inside lane production cars coming around that high side and trying to take the lead away.
Absolutely, it's a lot of thinking that's going on in those cars at the moment. Just have a look at our top 5 right here. So Ruben Phelps up there. He's had most laps led now, 23 laps in this race. Barry Neal just behind him. Only the 3 laps led, but that's enough to get a bonus point. Luke Crum getting a lap to his name, up in 3rd. 4th is Christopher Tomlin, also getting that all-important lap led marker. We've had, I don't know how many leaders we've had now, I'll have to check that in a moment. In 5th position is Nolly Tompkins. He just missing out on that lap led marker. Gary Wellman up there as well, so a lot of very, very fast drivers up towards the front of the field at the moment. We've had 22 lead changes so far tonight, with just the 1 caution.
Jeez. That's a lot of backwards and forwards racing there, up that pointy end of the race, Carl. It's definitely be looking over each shoulder every lap.
I know, and gotta say, Ruben Phelps is doing a great job at the moment. He has had the most laps led, and when you look at how many changes of the lead there has been, he's doing a fantastic job just to keep his nose up there and keep himself in that position.
Yeah, definitely. Ruben's very aggressive driving tonight. I think he's changed his style and he's decided just to go out and go after it.
Well, speaking to Ruben, I thought he was going to be a little bit less aggressive. I thought that was his change in driving style, but I might have misread his chatting, because yeah, he is really going for it at the moment, and he is putting all the pressure on up the front. And we know Ruben likes to be aggressive. He likes to put the pressure on people. He is very fast as well, and that's one of the things you cannot dismiss about Ruben Phelps. He is one of the faster drivers out there. His single lap pace is fantastic. Just looking back a little bit, his teammates working as well up the field nicely. Jamin and Curvis now pushing forwards to get up to the front and start helping out his teammate. Got Paul Drady sitting back there as well. Paul Drady getting 10th position, having a fairly solid run with Raymond Yeager, of course, at the RKJ Web Services sponsored car. If you're in the need of some websites or web-related things, RKJ Web Services is the place to go, of course, run by Raymond Yeager himself. Absolute stellar bloke and always very helpful indeed.
Yeah, we may see Noddy get a bonus point here shortly. He's definitely not giving up on that run.
No, he's got some damage, but he's still got some good speed in that car. You can see that little bit of bump draft in there on the back of Phelps. And I think Noddy and Phelps are not in a team together, but they are working with each other at least. They're sort of satellite teams, you can say. And we know Noddy tends to work very well in sort of group situations, and he's a handy driver to have with you. Barry Neal all on his loan tonight in the Aotearoa Aurora racing car, and he's keeping himself up there. We know Barry is quick. He's one of those drivers that you usually say has got a very strong chance of winning a race in the series. You can never discount him. He's had a little bit of bad luck recently though. Hopefully that luck will change, and then we have the smorgasbord of Sim Boys cars, of course, with the Sim Boys cars up the front as well.
There's plenty of those Sim Boy cars there. There's 3 just in that top 5 or top 6. So they're probably trying to work so they can hook up together. As we see Ruben slip back in the 3rd spot now, and again he's on the inside, and he's going to go for a run. Did not he get that bonus point then crossing the line, or was he a little bit further back?
I'm not too sure. I'll have to check on that a little bit later. I think he's on my screen. It's got him as a leader. If you look on the iRacing timing on your screen, Mark, you might be able to tell, say if he's led the lap. But it is up the front, and he's looking pretty good at the moment. He is really putting on the pressure up the front of the field. And well, if he didn't get the bonus lap last time, he's definitely going to get this time, because he is leading this lap for sure. Up there, just ahead of Crum and Tomlin. Ruben Phelps still on the inside, using that side draft to get up there nicely.
Yeah, if you get into the top 10 in these races, it's an accomplishment, because you look at that picture there that's coming through to you, and he's no room, and side by side and nose to tail. So these boys are really doing a great job with the racing tonight.
Yeah, it is very hard racing, but great racing to watch. And look, we have to thank our ever grateful sponsors as well: United Electrical Solutions, Hot Toddy Heating Installations, My Private Cellar, of course, Reacher Electrics, and RKJ Web Services.
Yeah, definitely. We're great sponsors of the series, so make sure you get out and you support them, and really give them the gratification they deserve for coming on board with this series.
Absolutely. Up the front it is Tompkins and Phelps at the moment. They are working very hard, just ahead of Barry Neal, and this race will be going into, well, pit stops. Probably be looking at them shortly. People will be thinking about popping into pit lane soon. We could see our first round of green flag pit stops in the next 2 to 3 laps.
Yeah, I reckon some of these back markers may take the chance to get down and get some fresh rubber, and get the run for a couple of laps over the leaders.
A big shout out to all our viewers tonight. We thank you all for joining us. As ever, it's been a lot of action out there tonight, and we appreciate you coming along and enjoying the ride with us as we get to enjoy some of this great Aussie oval action and some fantastic stuff with these brutish Aussie V8s on the ovals themselves. Just noticed Edward Foster down there in the chat, just popping in. Good evening, Ed. Congratulations for your run in the 500 today. Of course, I won't quite say anything about positions, but it was some entertaining stuff for sure. If you want to catch the replay of that, head over to the Full Speed Streaming YouTube channel. You can watch the replay there and see all the action from the 500. But at the moment, we have got some great action here tonight at Fontana. It's Barry Neal up in the lead now. He's pushing quite hard, and he's absolutely put his foot down. I get the feeling we might see Barry Neal pop in a pit lane soon.
Yeah, I'd say within the next 4 laps. Well, most guys will have to come in the next 4 laps, because that'll be the 60 lap mark. So on my calculations, and I wasn't that good at maths, that's where where I reckon they'll start to flutter and start to run out of fuel.
Exactly. It's sort of doing a bit of back calculation now, and we've got the beauty of being able to use our fingers and toes to do all that calculations up here in the commentary booth, but the drivers don't have that option, of course. It's one of the talents you need for sim racing, is you need to be able to work out that fuel strategy on the go. You're not only driving, but you're also your race engineer as well, so you've got to do all those calculations yourself. They do have some AI programs which help out, things like Crew Chief, for example, which will help just automate some of the refueling and some calculations for you. But the majority of stuff is all done by the drivers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, and especially these guys that run out there on themselves and don't have any teammates to rely on, they have to do a lot of calculations on their own.
Yeah, I was just looking there at the 23 car of Jager. He's worked his way up into 4th place now, so a great run from him, starting down in 19th position.
Yeah, he's moving himself up quickly. His highest position the last time round was 5th position. It might be a lot higher this time round as he's up into 3rd. He is pushing along nicely. He's just behind Phelps there and getting a good run in here. He's caught up on the high side at the moment, so if he needs to dart down pit lane, he's going to be in an unenviable position. But now he's managed to jink down to the low line behind the 06 of Phelps, and he is having a solid run. You can never discount Raymond Jaeger. He is always hunting for a good position.
Yeah, definitely.
Craig Rothie moved his way up there as well, the winner of the first round of the series. He's going to be hoping for some better luck this time around. He's had a couple of rough rounds, but again, the 030 is up there, and you can never discount Craig Rothie in a V8. He is incredibly good with these cars. We know he is very good on the street tracks, the regular tracks, of course, but the road courses. But on the ovals, he is improving every day, and he is one of the strongest drivers in a V8 out there.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking down the timing, mate. We've still got 28 cars on the lead lap. The first car that is 2 laps down is Kim Rothie. Not having a great night, but can also still come back with 40 laps to go. But it may be a hard ask here.
Absolutely, we've lost Andrew Hoffman, Aaron Dillon and Dwayne Priest out of this race, but we still have 29 cars rolling around and 28 of them on the lead lap. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm quite amazed that there hasn't been another incident up the front here with how close they are. They're really getting some in the same real estate.
As we see Cheatham coming down pit lane, we've got first pit stops happening here. So first man to blink is Ross Cheatham. Will we see the leaders coming in very shortly?
I'm not hearing any chat over the race radio, so no one's saying anything at the moment. So
no, nothing said yet. And just heard in the YouTube chat from Andrew Hoffman, his engine just switched off on him. It just shut off, sadly, and that was the reason we've not seen him out on track. So shame to lose him from the race, but we hope he enjoys the rest of this action. Tristan Koch in pit lane as well now. So we've got a couple of drivers popping down pit lane. I didn't mean to hit replay there. Just head back there. Easy to hit the wrong button when doing this. But we've got the first of those cars starting to come down pit lane, starting to come off pit road as well. Chayton coming off pit lane now. He's got a fresh set of boots, some more go juice, and he is going to hope that he can get some laps back here and have a good run. Of course, coming in a little bit early, if there's no caution, it can really pay off. As you've got those fresh tyres, you can start setting some great laps.
Another lead change, and we see Gary Willman to the lead.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you blink and you miss it with the lead changes. They are all over the place. And one of the things about Fontana is it's one of those tracks where you can kind of run high or low. It doesn't really have a disadvantage for where you position your car. Obviously, if you're out on your own, you're going to run that slightly sort of hybrid line, slightly sort of in the middle usually, coming a little bit down in the mid corner and then sort of the apex and then drifting up towards the wall to get that fast lap. But when you're out there on track, there's no set lane and you can really position your car any way you want.
Yeah, definitely. And another new leader, Craig Rocky, decided to have a run out the front there.
Coming in pit lane. Barry Neal is the first of the leaders with Jaeger to pop into pit lane. We've got Tomlin, Phelps, Schultz, Raymond Jaeger, Barry Neal and Noddy Tompkins down pit lane as Craig Roffey now jumps up to the leader of the race. We've got two green cars up there. It's Roffey and Wildman. There's a little bit of a snap there in the mid-pack for somebody. Didn't quite see who that was. Maybe it might have been Paul Drakey, I think. Just had a little bit of a snap in the Lucas Oil car. Down goes Justin Witcher. Down into the pits, and now we've got Jamie and Curtis up into the lead.
These guys will have to be thinking about pitting very soon in the next couple of laps, because I really don't think they've got much more fuel in the tank unless they stuck in on a under the caution for a second stop.
They've all only made the one stop, so they're all on equal tanks. So about 40 laps is the limit by the looks of it. But a few of these drivers, of course, were sitting in the mid-pack. They were able to save a little bit of fuel as we get a whole glut of cars coming down pit lane now. Look at the chaos here of all these cars. We'll jump on board onto the gyro of Todd Maxfield here to give you an idea what it's like coming into pit lane in one of these cars. You've got to get your stop right here, and you've got to be right on your marks. Getting into that pit box, Maxfield gets a bit of a lock of the brakes and skips past it. He has to chuck it in reverse. That's going to cost him.
Definitely. Now out the front we've got Jamie Nankervis and Peter Matheson. And they're both heading for... Is it Paul Drady? Yes, yeah. Sorry it is. And they're both heading into the pit lane there anyway.
And you've got Brad Fenley as well. So we should see everybody coming down pit lane now. This will be the last of the cars to stop. Meanwhile, on track, it's Craig Roffey, I think, the leader of the cars that have come down pit lane. And this is going to break up the pack a little bit, of course. When you come down pit lane, you gain or lose time, and obviously it depends where you brake. You've got pit limiters on these cars, which is something a little bit different for the oval racing, but you have got that limiter that you can slap on there, but you still need to get the car slowed down and get on the brakes and get it to a position where you can actually get in pit lane without locking up a wheel or having a moment, and it is very tricky to do. And of course, when you're going down pit lane for the first time, your brakes are very cold, so it's very easy for them to snatch and cause you to have a big moment.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking back at some long pit stops there, so some guys are getting some damage repaired as they make the spot.
Yeah, a few people, I think, just spending a little bit more time in pit road. I think Greg Spencer might be in there for a second time. Okay, you'll have to have a bit of a look there, Mark, because I've already got my little timing screen to tell me. Up the front though, it's Jaeger and Roffey now battling out, and Justin Witcher up there as well. The Pinnacle drivers have started to link up. Oh, as contact between Jaeger and Roffey. Does Roffey save it? He just about gets it there. That was a big moment. We'll just jump back and see if we can catch that one. So sorry about having to rewind that one, but here we go. You just see a little bit of side-on-side contact there between Roffey and Jaeger. Roffey just comes back out on track, almost collects the car, but does a great job of saving it. That will be stored in the memory banks of Craig Roffey now. There is nothing worse when you're driving out there on an oval, knowing somebody has a bit of payback to give you away.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Greg Zart had to come in and serve a penalty.
Oh, that is painful indeed, especially while it's been such a long green flag stop. That will drop Spencer down a lap or two for sure, and that will he's not out of the race of course, but it will hurt him. Meanwhile, we've got Jai Schultz up there. He's having some really good performances lately. The 27 is now in the lead of the fourth round of the Australasian Supercar E-Series here at Fontana, brought to you by My Private Cellar.
Yeah, he may be in the lead, but look at that blue car there, the blue and black car of Barry Neal is still hanging around there, and he's still in the hunt for a round win.
Exactly. You say blue and black cars. We've also got Kate Donnelly up there for the Sim Boys. We're not seeing Kate up there for a while. He's one of the Sim Boys that hasn't been in the top 10 all night, but now it's his turn to get up to the front. We've got Noddy Tompkins as well on the end of this with Gary Wellman and Ross Cheatham. We saw Ross come in early. He was one of the first cars to stop, but you see how much time that gave him. He was sitting down towards the back of the pack, and the Sapphire Sim Sports entry has now jumped right up to the front of the group now. Those fresh tyres really helping him out. Joe's one of those drivers you've just got to watch out for, because he is very quick and he has really been improving on the ovals recently, and that is a scary thing to happen because he was fast enough to begin with. Now he has got some confidence in his rig and he is really going great guns. He has been on top in so many series and having some really good runs. He just needs a little bit of luck to come his way, and he is going to be challenging every week, and he is really performing well recently.
Yeah, definitely. Raymond there just giving Joy a little bit of a love tap and a hurry up, and we still see Noddy persevering with that high line, jumping out to make it 3 wide through the turns.
Absolutely. One of the things, of course, that happens when you're running that high line is it's a little bit easier on the tyre because you're not putting as much pressure on it. One of the things that it's not well known outside of the oval racing community, but the reason that you see these oval tracks with the banking is because centrifugal force basically pushes the car down, and back in the early days of racing you didn't have things like downforce, so you needed that banking to push the car down and hold it onto track effectively. Nowadays, of course, we've got some really good sticky cars, some good downforce. We don't need that as much, but it still acts the same way. The higher up on the track you are, the less pressure you're going to be putting on those tyres. The lower down, the more pressure you put on there, the more wear you put on those tyres, and the more heat you put in them as well. So sometimes running that low line, it can be the quicker way to go, but it can also cause a little bit more wear as you've got to put a little bit more pressure on those tyres. The high line may be a little bit of a longer racetrack, maybe a little bit slower, but it may give you a little bit of a better tyre life in the latter runs.
Yeah, definitely. Just on the aero, mate, it was basically a house brick and throw some wheels on it and go racing back when I was younger.
No, absolutely. It's changed a lot. I mean, it's crazy to think, these cars with their aero, the amount of weight they get on them it's almost, I think it's about 2.5 times the actual weight of the car itself. These things weigh about a ton, isn't it? And once they get all the aero on board, they end up weighing about 2.5-3 tons. It really is a lot of downwards force that goes onto these cars once the aerodynamics starts pressing it in. Once you get that G-force as well, because especially on those banked corners, as we said, the centrifugal force, it pushes the car down as well, so you get even more weight on the car and even more G-force.
Yeah, definitely. I was just watching there. I was just going to say, Noddy needs someone up there to give him a hand. And Joy has jumped up there, but very close there, very close to the nose. So we may end up seeing No, they've looks like they're going to settle back into too wide, and as I say that, Raymond's decided to come through the middle.
Yeah, and a little bit of a push there from Rothy on to Witcher as well. Witcher now up into the lead of this race, and this will be comforting for his championship hopes as well. Justin Witcher, of course, two-time champion in the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and you got his teammate there, Raymond Jaeger, as well, another former champion. So a lot of champions up the front at the moment, battling away. Rothy in the middle, 3 wide here at Fontana.
Yeah, Noddy's just dropped off the back of Jai. I was going to say, we may see Barry jump up that high line, but he's decided to stay in that middle.
Thinking about 4 wide here, you can just see Jaeger just having that little thought process as Jai's up on that high line. You've got Rothy in the middle and Witcher on the bottom at the moment, and they were just pondering about maybe going 4 wide. You can see just a splash of cars. What, about 6 wide there down the straight, and they are 4 wide in the corner here. This is brave stuff right now. You've got to really hold the car in the right place. We've got 23 laps remaining here for round number 4 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Cellar.
Yeah, we've got that Jaeger and Witcher joining up now, so we may see these guys stick together and really try and work together. And we've got is it 2 Sim boys on that low line?
It is
I believe
indeed.
it is.
Donnelly and sorry, it's Rothy on the low line, but just behind them is Donnelly and Davidson.
Yes.
So not out the front yet, but they are close to each other. One of the Skypoint cars, Adam Malone, just behind Jai Schultz as well. So those two are hooking up nicely, and they've got Noddy Tompkins on that high line at the moment as well. But it is all go now. You can see these cars had a bit of a lead after the caution. After the pit lane, pit stops even. But because they were battling so hard, it's allowed everybody to gain back towards them, and now we've got a huge amount of cars nose to tail once more. We've got 24 cars nose to tail here, from Jared Daly up to Jai Schultz.
Some good close racing right throughout the pack. Again this week it's a matter of where do you look, Carl? Because it's right through the field, and it's very, very entertaining racing.
Absolutely, it's a terrible problem to have, which we always suffer through the Australasian Supercar E-Series, is knowing where to look, because the racing is so action-packed. I always feel for the guys who are in the mid-pack, because they never get a look in, because the front pack is so go, go, go. And you can see there, Jaeger giving Witcher a little bit of a nudge there, just helping him along, a little bit of bump drafting going on there, with 15 laps into this stint, so we're going to have about 15-20 laps until we see the next round of pit stops. So it's going to be a 5-lap dash to the end. I wonder if anybody's thinking of just jumping in now, getting that pit stop done, trying to get out there again, or if they're going to see if there is that caution.
I think a lot of the guys may hold out there and wait and see if there is a caution, because they're only going to need fuel. They're not going to need tyres, so it's going to be a quick splash.
Absolutely, it is literally just a couple of squirts of fuel that they need, and it feels so frustrating when you're driving a car knowing that you need to have that splash and dash at the end, because you just think, oh, I could possibly make it, maybe if I ease it out, maybe if I try and fuel save, could make it. It's not an easy thing to do though. But those drivers that stopped later in the earliest, I'm thinking about Jamie Van Curvis, Kobe Jordan, Jamie Van Curvis, Luke Crum, and I think Alex Schmidt as well. Those drivers, they all stopped a little bit later than everybody else. They had a little bit better fuel mileage. They must be thinking, I might have a chance here to make it. Let's see what we can do. They will be tantalisingly close, but the other thing that will happen, they have less fuel to put in the car. It takes a long time to get the fuel put into these cars, so the less you need put into it, the more time you can gain on track.
Yeah, definitely right. But I just wonder if No, there wasn't a big enough gap between me and Curvis and Coda.
Oh, big slide for Jai Schultz. He saves it somehow. Let's just go back and see that one. Jump on board with Jai Schultz there. Coming into the corner. All of a sudden, back end goes on him and he just saves it in the nick of time. That was scary stuff for the number 27.
Again, another pair of underwear to car 27, please.
Exactly. I mean, if you're an underwear salesman, you're going to be making some good money out there tonight.
Those tyres will be starting to get nice and warm, and as you said, Carl, there are a few little bumps in this track too that that will unsettle the car.
Yeah, very much so. And the other thing as well is, as the race goes on, you start to get little bits of debris, little bits of tyre. They tend to roll up towards the very far edge of the track and down the bottom, of course. And the little marbles, they can get on your tyres, and it gets very slippery very quickly when you get on them. Of course, with these cars being so spread out, there's going to be a little bit less debris out on the track, but it still exists out there, and if you get in the wrong place at the wrong time, it can really catch you out.
Yeah, definitely. And if you get up on those marbles, it really does upset the tyre. Becomes very slippery, as you said, with the build-up that you can pick up.
It does indeed. Still absolute nose to tail, still about 4 wide in the pack. It is fantastic action we're getting right here. It's a little bit of a wobble up the front between Witcher and Jaeger as they are bump drafting. But they just have a little bit of a moment there. You can see behind them, it is so close. Barry Neal back up in the top group again. Craig Roffey on the high line now.
There's definitely no lack of the word I'm looking for. I know the word I'm trying to think of, but it's been such a long day. It's slipped my mind what I was actually going to say.
The cars may... Oh, contact between Jaeger and Roffey! Again, they save it. That was close though. That was scary stuff. Let's just try and go back and have a little look-see at that one. And just watch this on the high line. We're watching Jaeger here. Maybe he just goes up. And I think caution flag is out. The caution is
caution is out.
So we'll go back and catch that one in a second. We'll just finish this little replay here. It was coming to it, and that was the contact between Jaeger and Roffey. And we'll just fast forward a little bit here because I think it was Jaeger again who got caught in the caution, was it?
Trying to find it myself, mate.
No, it wasn't Jaeger. I don't know who it was. I've not got any information, Mark. If you can have a look, see what you can find.
Yep. Just trying to find it.
Nicholas Walsh. But this will mean everybody can come in pit lane and get some all-important fuel, of course. So they'll be popping down pit lane and getting their tanks full of gas to get to the end of this race. And you have to forgive us, we can't find what actually happened to bring
No, I can't find it, mate. It's
Well, I say people coming in to top up their tanks. I think people will be able to make it to the end now without putting fuel in their tank. So they're going to stick it out there and take a bit of a risk. We have got some drivers coming in pit lane though. So we've got Tristan Koch, Nicholas Walsh, Jared Daly, Jai Schultz and Ross Chatham coming in pit lane. So,
No, sorry, Carl, I can't find it.
one thing you can do, Mark. I think if I can find my scribbly writing.
Oh, hang on. It looks like someone's gone to the infield. Just seen the flash.
Yeah, so if you replay to around about the point where the caution came out, you can press Control and number pads on your number pad 1 and 3, and that will actually bring up the incidents, so you can find it with that one. But yeah, possibly somebody going down on the infield has bought that one out. Unfortunately, I'm on the camera duty tonight, as we mentioned. Matt Hunter away this weekend, helping his mum out after the horrible cyclone Gabriel that has hit New Zealand. If you can help out our Kiwi friends with any support via charity sites, please do. And our hearts go out to all of our Kiwi brethren who have suffered through that, and know people that are suffering in that one. We hope that things go better for you soon, and we hope that you're doing well. But the race is still going on. It's Justin Witcher up the front of this pack. We're going to have a 10-lap dash to the end now. And, well, if the racing was fast and furious before, I think it's only going to get more exciting as we get to the end of this race.
Sorry, Carl, that keeps taking me back to the Raymond Jaeger incident, so I can't find it.
That's okay, Mark. It's quite okay. We will carry on. So obviously, could have been just iRacing just throwing a little bit of a wobbly there and going, oh, yep, caution flag is needed, when it doesn't always need to happen. But it has gotten us to this stage of the race. Now, one thing drivers have to be careful of now is, well, if we get a green-white checker, they could be in trouble fuel-wise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be one to see what happens with we'll probably go back live green with 8 laps to go. No, 9. Yeah. So with the pace cars in. So yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens here. I think if we do see an overtime, we'll see just about everyone buck down the fuel.
Absolutely, as Richard gets a nice start there, gets a decent leap away. As we go back to green flag racing for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by my private seller. It's Justin Richard, Troy Davis, and Barry Neal, Kate Donnelly, Raymond Jaeger, Jamie Nankervis, Adam Malone, Noddy Tompkins, Nigel Patton, and Gary Wellman, our top 10 for the near moment. But that will change very shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely will. We've just seen there Justin putting a nice little move on Barry, and Justin's probably trying to hook up with his teammate Raymond.
Yeah, if they can hook up, they'll be in good standing. Of course, always nice to have a teammate behind you, gives you a little bit of a confidence boost. But there is a lot of racing going on. We've got a Pinnacle on the outside, a Pinnacle on the inside, and in the middle of that sandwich filling it is an Aotura or a racing car of Barry Neal at the moment. He's sitting as the piggy in the middle as we get 7 laps remaining here tonight.
Yeah, the other thing there too, Carl, is the number 90 of Nigel Patton, another Pinnacle car in the my private Cellars car paint scheme. So he'll be looking to try and get through this, and where it's 4 wide coming through the tri-oval.
We are as all contact between Neal and Donnelly, and the caution is going to fly as there's a huge wreck now on the track. Let's see if we can catch the beginning of this incident. Saw Barry Neal getting caught up with this one. You can see contact between Jaeger and Neal, and then as Kay Donnelly and Barry Neal had nowhere to go, and up he goes, catches a few cars, a huge wreck there.
Yeah, it's not the way Barry would have wanted the night to go, but so such a close racing, things like this will happen.
It will indeed, and unfortunately Barry Neal gets caught again. His luck has not been with him this year, and it has really been hurting. You can see he just gets pinged up straight into the side of Wellman there. Catches, I can't even see some of those cars, but the 867, I think it is, of it's not Tomlin, it's
Luke Crum.
From Luke Crum, there we go. He had a big accident. We'll just quickly jump onto the onboard for Luke Crum there. And if you get motion sickness, look away now, folks, because this is going to be a nasty ride here with Luke Crum. He gets caught, goes round, and then over and over he goes. He lands on all four like a cat, but that car is going to be, well, it's going to be written off for sure. That thing is not going to be driving straight again tonight.
No, definitely not. For sale, one slightly used Ford Mustang.
Minor roof damage on it. So the caution is flying. We've got 5 laps to go. We're going to see that. Are we going to see that green light checker appearing, and will that catch some people out? Of course, the extra caution laps here will just help with fuel saving now, but it is going to make for a sprint to the end here tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be any love lost at the front here. I think it's going to be door-to-door bumping, and we may see another caution before the night's out.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers have got to be, they've got to really be on their best so far, and it's going to be a tricky thing to do. It's not always easy. I'm just looking. I can't seem to find it on my screen, which is never easy. Just trying to look for big movers of the night.
Noddy Tompkins started 28 and he's showing in 4th. The other one is Jamie Nankervis, started in 30th and he's showing 6th. And Nigel Patton started 22nd and now in 5th. So there's been some big movers. Kobe Jordan also started in 19th. He's up 9 spots in the 10.
Yeah, absolutely. He did not go rolling like his teammate there for the Inside Line Productions entry, and he is up inside the top 10 at the moment. He's going to hope to stay there and hopefully improve those spots as we'll go back to green flag racing shortly. But it is Justin Witcher in the lead, just ahead of the reigning champion. It is the number 1 Sim Boys car, Troy Davison, sitting on the outside row, and then we've got Adam Malone, Noddy Tompkins sitting in 3rd and 4th, Nigel Patton with Jamie Nankervis 5th and 6th, Todd Maxfield in 7th, and Craig Roffey in 8th, Kobe Jordan 9th, and Kay Donnelly 10th. That's our 10 cars for this restart. We will be going back to racing very shortly.
We've got a basically got a green white checker without having a green white checker.
Yes. So we've got one more attempt at it, I guess. So hopefully we don't see that horrible yellow flag coming out again. But if it does, then we've got a chance to get a finish under the green flag tonight, which we'll all be hoping for, I'm sure. But the pace car is sitting there, leading the way. It's going to be Justin Witcher going for that restart. Will he carry it home tonight and get a win? Will we see somebody else get there? You never know. You've got to be on your edge, as we'll have 3 laps remaining here tonight for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by My Private Seller, Witcher Electrics. Brains to hot toddies, eating installations, and my brain has gone dead now. I do apologise.
And we're going to go green this time by. So Justin rolling up, and he's got a great jump. And so is the white car there. Nigel Patton. So Nigel will be wanting to try and get up and get behind Justin to push his teammate. But we're under caution again.
That did not last long. Did you see what happened there?
I'm just going back to have a look. Oh, it looks like Brad Penley, mate.
Oh, yeah, we just catching the end of that, and there's a huge wreck. Looks like Josh Schultz has been caught up in that, as well as Tristan Koch, the number 5 of Andy Barber as well.
And Greg Spencer.
I
think it may have been Greg that caused that. Just go back a little bit further on my cameras, and on the start, it looks like Greg's jumped to the through the middle to get a good run, and he's just made slight contact with our car, and that's sent Brad up in the Jai.
Yeah, huge accident there, and Jai. He does a great job of keeping it on 2 wheels, but that is night over for a fair few cars there, and a lot of damage on Peter Matson as well. His car is looking like it might be done for the night. That thing is missing its bonnet.
Well, Jai's are still out there at the moment, so, and it looks like, oh no, I think he may have damage to the right front, but it could be just the crease in the panels.
No, it's I'd say it's the left front, because that thing is very bent in, and the right front actually. They're both looking pretty buggered in technical terms. As we jump onto the onboard here, you can see that car is about 5 inches slimmer than it was at the start of the race.
And we've definitely got a green-white checker, so it's going to be interesting and to see if anyone plays nicely at the front here.
Absolutely. So green-white checker, if you're new to oval racing, it basically gives us a little bit of overtime and lets the drivers go back to racing for another couple of laps. So we get the flag come out, we get the green start, then they'll come round to take the white flag, and then the checkered will flag. As soon as the white flag falls, the race cannot finish under a caution. If there is a wreck before that white flag comes out, then the race will finish under yellow.
Yeah, definitely. But it seems with the races we've called this week, we haven't seen too many. Too many, but we have had 1 or 2 this week, Carl, and I just can't remember which ones they were.
No,
so
it's been a lot of racing, and it's not unusual to see a green-white checker appear. We would rather see the race finish completely green, but when they do come out, at least it gives the opportunity to run to the end with a bit of racing. So hopefully we'll see that here tonight for the Australasian Supercar E-Series.
This race definitely doesn't deserve to finish under a caution with the action we've seen here tonight. And again, it's been right throughout the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some fantastic stuff going on, and it's been some hard racing tonight and some really close side by side stuff. Hopefully we are going to see this one finish out as it should do, with a great battle going on. Justin Witch are going to be starting up front again. It's Troy Davison on the outside, Alan Malone, Nigel Patton on the second row, Noddy Tompkins, Jamie Nam Curvis on the third, fourth row Craig Rothy, Todd Maxfield, and the fifth is Kate Donnelly and Kobe Jordan. They're all going to be hoping they can make it through here and get a good strong finish for round number 4 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series. So they come down the back straight now before the pace car pulls in. Everybody just shuffling position, getting in the right spot, and it won't be long until we hear the big 5-litre V8s warble into full attack mode as they put their foot hard to the floor and go back to green flag racing. You can see here Richard and Davison right next to each other, and Troy Davison will be really keen to get a win underneath his belt tonight if he can continue his run as the series champion. We saw him with some great consistency last season, Green flag has fallen. We're back to racing now. It is 3 laps to go. We are very close to the end, and it is Witcher, Davidson, Malone up the front with a massive battle behind them.
It looks like everyone's settled back in and looking at the front there. The race is definitely on for that win. Justin Witcher and
Davidson. Yeah, it's very close. They've pulled out a bit of a gap over Tompkins and Malone, but Roffey is getting a good run as well. As they come across the line, the white flag will be coming out, I think. Oh, as a round goes in the background, we've had a big spin. We're on the final lap though, so the caution won't come out. We'll jump to that replay in a moment. I think it was Jamie Curvis and maybe Kobe Jordan getting caught up in that one. But up the front, it's between Witcher, Davidson and Tompkins. Who is going to get this run? Witcher comes down to cut off Tompkins' run. Lonnie Tompkins has got a great run here. It is between Witcher and Davidson now as they come round the corner. Witcher on the inside, Tompkins in the middle, Davidson on the outside. It's going to be Witcher, but looks of it, Davidson's getting a great run here on the tri-oval. Witcher comes down to chop him off. They're coming across the line. It is absolutely nose to tail, and I think it's Witcher getting the win.
I'll tell you what, don't know who got that because it's watching it live. It was just too close to call. Looking for the checkered flags to come up on the iRacing timing, and I think you may be right. I think it may be Witcher, Davidson, Tompkins.
It was very close indeed. My timing screen has absolutely bugger all between the 3 cars, and we'll just
It's showing me as Justin Witcher take the win by just 0.008.
Absolute photo finish there. 009 on my screen, 0.023 to Tompkins. Absolute nose to tail there, but Witcher gets the win by, well, less than a millimetre there. Absolute stonking finish between those 3. Let's just jump back and see what happened with that incident on the white flag lap. You have to forgive me for using the rewind function. Here they come. And there's contact from Jamie goes into the 4, and that's caused a massive incident behind them, and a whole heap of those front cars get spun around, and that's why the leaders had an advantage going across there. There was nobody there to really race against them. Kobe Jordan getting really caught up in that one, unfortunately, as well, and that really changed the finish of that race. But fantastic action to the line there as Justin Witcher well deservedly celebrates that fantastic win. We're catching the donuts here from the number 12 Pinnacle Esports entry, the Witcher Electrics sponsored car, and big congratulations to Justin Witcher on a very, very hard fought victory.
Yeah, I just heard over the race radio, Paul Drady has been given a post-race penalty by iRacing, so he's gone from 6th place, I think he was, down to 22nd.
Oh, that is always painful. Let's look at the results. Of course, the unofficial results. If you're after the stewarding, head over to the Australasian Facebook page, the Australasian Supercar E-Series Facebook page, where they have the live stewarding and post-race part of this discussion. But for the race itself, we'll run through the finishing order. It was Justin Witcher taking victory ahead of Troy Davidson. Absolutely nothing between these 3 cars. Noddy Tompkins coming home 3rd. Cabe Donnelly with Tom Pritchard 4th and 5th. Raymond Yeager 6th, 7th for Ruben Phelps. Andy Barber in 8th place. 9th for Patton. Kim Roffey in 10th. Christopher Tomlin comes home 11th with Alex Schmidt in 12th. 13th for Todd Maxfield. Jamie Curvis in 14th. 15th for Kobe Jordan. 16th for Adam Malone. Craig Roffey 17th. 18th for Cheatham. Jai Schultz 22nd, and 21st possibly, and 22nd is Brad Fenley. 21st, we've got Nicholas Walsh with Paul Drady, 22nd. 23rd for Greg Spencer, Tristan Cott, 24th. 25th for Madison, Crum in 26th. Daly in 27th. 28th is Gary Wellman with Barry Neal, 29th, and Andrew Hoffman, 30th. And we have Aaron Dillon, Dwayne Priest, Peter Grattan, and Derek Jacobs rounding them out.
Yeah, I was just going to say the hard luck story has to go out to Barry Neal. We've really been up that pointy end so long, and just an unfortunate accident there for him.
Yeah, it's always a tricky thing indeed, and it's never fun when those things happen. But it is racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, that is definitely oval racing at its best, though. With such closeness and just a slight touch, we'll see a lot of cars end up turning themselves around, and so it's good to see. Good to see that the league has got such strong fields right throughout. As we said earlier in the broadcast, you just don't know where to look to see the action.
No, absolutely. So just looking at our interviews, it doesn't look like we've got Noddy Tompkins, unfortunately. So we will jump to our second place man, the reigning champion, Mr. Troy Davidson, for Sim Boys. So, Troy Davidson, welcome back to the booth, Mr. Champion, and congratulations on a very, very close P2 tonight.
Yeah, good race, Carl. It was pretty intense the whole way through, but I thought I might have just nipped it there at the end, but I was sort of going to make a move into turn 3, and Noddy went down the inside of me there, so I had to make a last over and under sort of move at the end, but then Justin just got me going into the line. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I mean, there was less than a cigarette paper between you two. It was absolutely close stuff at the end.
Yeah, I think it was 8,000s. I think it was, or something like that. So yeah, pretty close.
Photo finish indeed. You'll have to get the boy with the Polaroid camera out there and just double check that one. It was a very, very entertaining race though, from our point of view, and look, pretty tough racing all night. It was nose to tail, side to side, and door to door action all through that race.
Yeah, I didn't really expect it. Like, I knew it'd be fairly super speedway-ish, but I thought tyres may have come into it. Like, especially the pace was pretty on since the start, and I thought a few cars might have dropped off, but everyone seemed to be managing pretty well. And yeah, there wasn't many laps that weren't 3 wide at some point. She was pretty good fun.
I think when you watch the broadcast, you'll notice there's 4 or 5 wide at some stages there. It was pretty entertaining stuff tonight. Look, congratulations on a great, strong finish. Commiserations on missing out by that win by the narrowest of margins. I think you need to invest in a slightly longer bonnet.
Yeah, no, it's... yeah, like I say, I went across the line. I think a couple of my mates in the Discord said I might have got it, and I thought I did. I couldn't see him out of my peripheral vision, but yeah, just 8,000s in it, so good enough for second.
No, absolutely. Congratulations tonight, Troy. Before I let you go, though, all the shout out to the adoring fans and the sponsors.
Yep, just usual. The Sim Boys team. We rock up every week and have a ball, and Hot Toddy heating stalls, United Electrical, and a bit of a ripper this week. We've had a bit of a laugh between us, but we put the old Peter Brock polarizer in the car tonight, so she paid off in the end.
Oh, it worked out well. Look, congratulations, Troy. Fantastic stuff as always, and we look forward to getting you back in the booth in the very near future, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Carl. Thanks.
Troy Davidson there for the Sim Boys. Next up, we will grab the winner of tonight's race, Mr. Justin Witcher for Pinnacle Esports. Congratulations, Justin. You won that one by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It was good racing between me and Troy. Well, good racing by him anyway.
Yeah, you can't get much closer than that. It was very much very, very close there. Did you just sneeze or something just to get that little bit further ahead across the line?
Yeah, I don't know. I closed my eyes and hoped to God I could see him coming. He disappeared, and I was like, "Oh no, he's got me." But like I said, it was one of the narrowest.
Tell you what, that Ford Prancing Pony bonnet ornament paid off tonight, as it got your nose ahead across the line, just ahead of Davidson. It was tough racing all night long, though. You guys were absolute nose to tail, side to side, door to door. There was not much space up at the front.
Yeah, it was. She was pretty tight. It was good racing by everybody. There's probably 3 or 4 different lines, but again, like last week, they all sort of moulded into 1 or 2 down the straights, or down the between 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So it was a bit tricky, and there was a lot of movement around, but yeah, everyone kept it reasonably clean.
No, absolutely. It was great to see there at the end. A little bit of an accident behind you. I imagine that gave you a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, it just needed to happen about 200 metres shorter, I reckon. And then it would have been right. Wouldn't have had a stressful last lap, but here we are.
Oh, look, for us it was nice. We like seeing you have a stressful last lap, of course. It makes for an entertaining moment. Got to ask as well, fuel-wise, it looked like you were pretty comfortable there at the end.
Yeah, she would have been tight if I was stuck out on my own, run around flat out. But yeah, those last few cautions got us over the line. But yeah, like I was sort of clutching around here and there just to sort of make sure that I had enough. But because I've been known to short fill too much.
Well, you absolutely got those calculations correct tonight, and you even had enough decent burnouts, so that is always a good thing indeed. Congratulations on the win tonight, Justin, which, before I let you go though, the usual thing of shout out and love to all of our sponsors and adoring fans.
Just the boys at Pinnacle Esports, Greg, Matt, Raymond, Nige, and our sponsors, My Private Cellar, RKJ Web Services, and Witcher Electrics, and the what's it called, series sponsors, the Hot Toddies, United Electrical, and again, like I said last week, you boys put on an amazing show.
You're always welcome. When you give us action like that, it makes our jobs a lot easier, even if it has been a long day. Thank you so much, Justin. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth shortly, but congratulations on a very, very narrow win tonight.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Well, Mark, never race done and dusted for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and well, you can't get much closer than that, can you?
No, what a way to finish. Tally-ho paper over all 3 of those cars, because and really, Carl, it was right throughout the race. You really never knew who was going to take the lead. It was backwards and forwards between Barry and a few other guys, and Ruben. So the racing here